Let me also thank Jeff Shapak for opening up this incredible venue for the convening this morning. And I want to acknowledge Secretary Jesse White, Secretary of State Jesse White, and the Jesse White Tumblers. Secretary White, there's so many things about his life and his legacy that we could talk about, but I think one of the most lasting ones is Jesse White Tumblers, probably the best violence and crime prevention program in our state. So, Mr. Secretary, thank you. I'd also like to thank Chairman Harrison and members of the DNC as they come to Chicago to make a critically important decision about the location for the 2024 Democratic Convention. We have and will continue to spend a lot of time talking about why Chicago is the only choice and a place where the DNC can truly shine. These reasons include our city's experience hosting major, large-scale events every year, not episodically, but every single year, all year round. Our world-class infrastructure and strategic Midwestern location, our unified leadership, and so much more. But this morning, we want to talk about why the DNC is good for Chicago. A convention of this size and visibility would be tremendously beneficial to this city and give us an opportunity to claim our narrative on a global stage. For starters, the DNC typically funnels the DNC convention generates 150 to 200 million into the local economy of the city it's hosted in, and we expect that to be no different in 2024. It also presents an incredible opportunity to uplift our minority, women, and veteran-owned restaurants and businesses throughout Chicago, who will partner with to deliver an unforgettable experience for every conventioneer. Furthermore, the convention would help bolster our city's economic revitalization efforts. We are recovering from the pandemic stronger and better than any other city in the nation, and this would absolutely add to our recovery efforts. Some of you may recall the 1996 DNC was held here in Chicago with tremendous success. The convention sparked development around the United Center, leading to the restaurant, shops, and residences we see today in the West Loop and the Fulton Market district where we are in right now. The 2024 DNC convention has the same power to revitalize, and we are ready to harness that power. So having this convention here in Chicago will have a dramatic, positive economic impact on our city. Despite the global pandemic, Chicago's economy has roared back. Our city has experienced the strongest economic growth in 30 years. And I could go on, but I just want to tell you, we're back, we're ready, and why not Chicago? And on top of all of this, we welcome more than 30 million visitors to our city. The prospect of welcoming an additional 50,000 visitors in 2024 is therefore as feasible as it is exciting. Here in Chicago, we've been building the future of our country every single day by creating an equitable recovery economy, by making sure that our social safety net is responsive to the lived experience of our most vulnerable residents. Proof points for everything that the Biden-Harris administration stands for. So we look forward to continuing partnering with the DNC to amplify these efforts, as well as highlight the tremendous work that our city does day in and day out to advance and protect democracy. Let me also just say this. Unfortunately, our great Senator Tammy Duckworth was detained in Washington, D.C. for some critical votes and unable to be with us this morning. But make no mistake, she and her team have been fully engaged in this effort from day one, and working with the senator and her team have been a tremendous joy. She wanted me to extend her regrets, but to say that she is fully on board for the convention coming here in 2024. And now it brings me great pleasure to introduce someone who needs no introduction, but is a stalwart, our conscience in the Congress, in our city, and a champion and advocate for the West Side. And that is none other than Congressman Dnc Davis. Congressman.
Well, thank you very much. And I must say that I am indeed proud that I've represented the area where we are for the last 20 years or so. and I've seen the transformation that has taken place. So I'm delighted to be here with an outstanding governor, a great mayor, two of my colleagues, and I think our purpose is to reaffirm that not only is the convention going to be good for Chicago, but Chicago is good for the convention and good for Democrats to display the leadership of the Biden-Harris team during their tenure in office. But Chicago is great for Democrats and great for America because it is the transportation center of the Midwest, and people have easy access to come and be a part. The influence of the activities will reverberate throughout the area because of the strategic location of this great city. It's good to be here with the soul children of Chicago and the tumblers, the Jesse White tumblers, and I add tribute to the great work of Secretary of State Jesse White down through the years. Let me emphasize that Chicago is the essence of the diversification of America and the diversification of leadership. Also, tremendous policies. I think of my own representation and the fact that I represent Greektown, Chinatown, Old Town, New Town, Downtown, Soulville, Ukrainian Village, every population group that one can imagine. But the policies of our city, showing what diversification and opportunity means. Our state has managed the coronavirus as well and better than practically any state in the nation. Our mayor has stood tall, time and time again, promoting policies that say that America is the place where everybody can feel that they are indeed a part of it and that their dreams and aspirations can be met. So, Mr. Harrison, Mr. Chairman, with due respect to all of those other cities, the other three, there's none like Chicago, our kind of town.
Thank you so much, Congressman. Folks, you know, when Danny K. Davis speaks in Congress, everybody listens. Congressman, you are indeed a trailblazer, and so many of us stand on your shoulders. Thank you for all that you've done for this city, but even greater, thank you for what you have done for the nation. We really, really appreciate it. And thank you all for being here today. I want to thank the governor, I want to thank the mayor, I want to thank all of these members of Congress for being here. I want to thank the young people who have demonstrated their talents and had their voices be heard. I also want to thank my fellow officers of the DNC that I have here with me as well, who hail from all across the country, representing various operations at the DNC, and they have joined me as we've gone across the country to visit the 4 cities that are the 4 finalists in terms of the DNC. And we, along with our technical assistance team, who have done, as I've said, they've done more conventions and known more about conventions than I've forgotten in my lifetime. They are amazing, and I'm just overjoyed to join them. You know, sometimes I pinch myself in the fact that I come to these press conferences and I'm with the governor and I'm with the mayor and members of Congress. Nobody in my family was ever involved in politics. My actual first political memory was listening to somebody who has South Carolina and Chicago ties, Jesse Jackson at the 1988 convention. It's my first real political memory. And Reverend Jackson in that convention said something that just woke up in me, which is, he was talking to young people specifically, and said that young people, you can't give up. You have to continue to fight. You have to continue to dream and you can change this country. I would not be here today in front of you but for that moment at that convention. And that's what's so special about conventions, my friends. Because conventions are the one moment in 4 years in which each party gets an opportunity to say to all Americans, but to say to the world who they are, what they represent. I know what the Democratic Party is, who we are. We are the party of freedom. We are the party of hope. Not just for one segment of the American population, but for all of Americans. Because our party looks like America. When Ronna McDaniel does the same type of thing, when she announces her convention site, whatever, I can guarantee you it won't look like this. Because they don't represent all of America and who we are. So when we go and look for the cities, we are looking for a city that represents the Democratic Party's values: diversity, inclusion, opportunity. This will be the first time in 4 years, President Joe Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris, they didn't get a chance to have a regular convention. They didn't get a chance to have an inauguration. So this will be the first time in 4 years in which America will see Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and all of the things that they have accomplished and achieved, and to hear their stories and why they deserve to go back to the White House for another 4 years. Why Democrats deserve to control the White House, the House, the Senate, governor's mansions, and state houses. And so I'm really, really excited about that opportunity. I've told all of the cities we are looking for a turnkey operation, because we understand that the experiences of the delegates and the experiences of the press are really, really important. I don't want people going out into the hinterlands trying to find their hotel, right? We need them to all be there. We don't need to have big traffic confusion and all. I need it all to work. I want the attention 100% to be on Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and the Democratic Party, and we are going to put on the best show that we have ever put on ever in the history of Democratic conventions. So I want to thank you all again for being here. I want to thank the amazing team that the governor, the mayor, the congresswoman, the chair of the Democratic Party here in Illinois have put together to make this bid happen. Chicago's always been a wonderful city, will continue to be a wonderful city, and that is why it's in the finalists for this convention. So with that, I will turn it over to Congresswoman, Chairwoman Robin Kelly.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Chair Harrison, for that introduction. My name is Robin Kelly, and in addition to being the Congresswoman from Illinois' 2nd Congressional District, I'm also the proud chair of the Democratic Party of Illinois. And on behalf of DPI and all Democrats, I'm pleased to welcome the DNC here this week to show what makes Chicago the best city in the world. And why is this? Why this is the city to help deliver the DNC. But as someone who represents all Democrats in all parts of our state, I'd like to talk to you for a moment about why the DNC will be beneficial to our entire state. Simply put, no state mirrors the diversity of our nation better than Illinois. Chicago is a thriving world-class city surrounded by diverse suburbs. Downstate Illinois is covered with strong farmland communities and dotted with small and medium-sized cities that are innovating and growing. All of those places will have a spot on the world stage that the convention provides. Not only that, but the convention will highlight the people who make our state so unique and our rich history that makes us who we are today. It will spotlight the city that works and show how it works. And that's a compelling story to tell, because as you've heard, it works by striving every day to achieve America's full potential for all of its people, by delivering on policies that transcend party line in their popularity, like expanding affordable health care and a higher minimum wage, policies that benefit everyone in Illinois and will benefit all Americans also. Let's not forget the economic benefit. Hosting the DNC here in Chicago will draw an influx of visitors all over Illinois. As Mayor Lightfoot mentioned, the convention will infuse $150 to $200 million into our economy, positively impacting the future of our entire state. That's why the opportunity to host the DNC here is an incredible opportunity for Illinois. And I can't wait for the world to see the pride that we have here in our state when we stand in the spotlight together in 2024. And now I'd like to turn it over to my dear friend and wonderful colleague, Congressman Chewie Garcia. Thank you.
Muy buenos días and good morning to all. Bienvenidos al Comité Nacional del Partido Demócrata. Están en la ciudad de los vientos. I am so happy to be here today to welcome the DNC to Chicago. One of the promising aspects of the convention is the power to hold that it holds for strengthening our communities and youth through volunteer opportunities. In my 40 years as a public servant, building the next generation has been a priority. Investing and mentoring others, especially young people, to get involved. Civic engagement is at the heart of a healthy democracy, and when we have elections with very clear and dramatic stakes, our level of civic engagement decides our collective future. Hosting the DNC in Chicago will provide a dramatic boost to civic engagement, particularly among young Chicagoans who will be exposed to the political process through unprecedented educational and volunteer opportunities. A convention like this can be a turning point in the life of a young person. From young people to working class communities and mixed status families, we've got to invite everyone to the table to show them that democracy works. And it works with them, not just for them. Imagine all the volunteers who will get involved after seeing their participation and voice truly matter and is reflected. We have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to inspire young people and their friends, not just to get involved, but to stay involved in the following months leading up to the election. And there is no doubt that it will also lead some to pursue a career in campaigns, local leadership, and yes, even run for office themselves. They'll find inspiration for how to continually make our democracy stronger. And we need that more today than ever. With Chicago's deep history in grassroots organizing, successful campaign wins, and exemplary candidates, this is also an opportunity for us to share with the world that Chicago's got much to offer. So I'm excited about all the lives that this convention will impact while we uphold Chicago's robust legacy of civic engagement and shape the future of our city and nation for generations to come. Thank you. Now I'd like to turn it over to Governor Jb Pritzker.
Thank you so much, Chewie, and thanks to everyone who's been up here today, and especially the members of the DNC, the members of the Technical Advisory Group for the Site Selection Committee. We're pleased to be able to host you in the city of Chicago. Good morning to everybody, and thanks to everyone that's joined us. I'm really thrilled that we're here to be able to show off the best of Chicago, but also to talk about what's great about this convention for the city of Chicago and for the state of Illinois. Let me say, we get to show off about Chicago and Illinois that this is what it looks like when Americans vote for leaders who support hardworking families, who through policies of a fair minimum wage, expanding voting rights, protecting civil rights and human rights, and standing up for the right to choose, that this is what a great state looks like. That policy alignment that we share in the state of Illinois and among Democrats is critical for the story that the DNC must tell in 2024, and especially about our great president and vice president, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. They represent, the two of them, the diversity among them of the city of Chicago, just between the two of them. And what we have to show off is the neighborhoods and people of the city of Chicago to represent what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris represent. And I'm really pleased that we get to showcase this great city. You've heard a lot of reasons this morning why the DNC will be a boon for Chicago, and I want to add another big one, and that's jobs. Hosting the DNC in Chicago in 2024 will bring thousands of good-paying, labor-friendly jobs to our city and to our state. It will engage our strong labor unions and their rich experience putting on events like this every single year, as you heard the mayor say. It will show that Chicago is the convention capital of the world, and we attract more events like this than most other cities can ever dream of, adding to our city's economic growth over time. And leading up to the convention, there will be progress and benefit to the city of Chicago. But even for the 4 days that we're bringing 50,000 people to the city, you can imagine the kind of commerce that will take place just during those few days and the benefit that it brings. We're proud to have the strong support for this convention of our labor unions, to have a wealth of union hotels in our central business district, and to have the skilled workers who can make a world-class convention a success. We have a lot of ideas of how to deliver an exciting and compelling convention that will tell a vitally important story to the country at this critical moment in our history, and we know that the members of the DNC do too. And the city of Chicago is a great place to showcase all of who we are as Democrats in this country. We look forward to a successful partnership leading to a successful convention in 2024. And now I'd like to turn it over to Tara, who's going to lead us into this next portion of the program.
Great, and now we're going to take a few questions on topic. Mr. Ready?
Sure, I can ask one on topic. Could someone detail what you'll be seeing today, where they're taking you, wining and dining you, what your expectations are?
Well, today is really about making sure that the members, the delegation, particularly the technical assistance folks, really do a deep dive. Some folks are already at the United Center. They'll be spending some time there. Yesterday when they came in, they were at the airport looking at our transportation systems, and we're going to show them through emergency management, police, and fire, and others, how we, what the logistics are that would go into putting on a convention. They'll be spending time at the hotels to really understand what the spaces are there, and really checking out a number of other venues.
Dinner?
Pardon me?
Where's dinner?
Why, are you going to stake us out? We're going to have dinner at Millennium Park. At Millennium Park.
I have a question for Mr. Harrison. You know, we're leading up right to the Illinois Democratic Party voting on a new chair. Can you talk about how some of the tensions might affect the decision-making?
In the end, you know, the Illinois Democratic Party, like all of our state parties, will choose who they want to be their chair. You know, that's happening now. 2024 is a few years from now. So we're focusing on, this week, we're focusing on the convention here.
Another question. Yes, okay, thank you. Is it more politically advantageous to hold the convention in a state like Texas or Georgia to help the Democrats in 2024?
Yeah, I don't buy, I know many of the pundits often talk about, you know, the impact politically that it has on things. You know, we held the convention in Philadelphia and we didn't win Pennsylvania that year. We held a convention in Charlotte and we didn't win North Carolina that year, right? So bottom line, it's about the show. It's about putting on the best show possible on the ground, but also on television. Painting the picture and demonstrating why, and it's about the story and why Democrats need to be in leadership. So I don't subscribe to that. I want to go to a city and I want to select a city for the president who's going to help put on the best showcase for the Democratic Party and to showcase the diversity and the inclusion and the opportunity that this party creates and presents.
Governor, can I ask you, because the mayor did talk about the unified leadership, and while Shia did refer to it, we'd like to get your comments. How can you say there's unified leadership when you're trying to boot Robin Kelly from her post?
Well, let's be clear, we're all standing here in unison, standing up for a Democratic convention for Chicago and for the state of Illinois. And I think as the chair said so eloquently, after Saturday, we're going to have a chair of the Democratic Party of Illinois. Whoever that is going to serve a 4-year term. We're all rallying around the Democratic Party of Illinois for the next 4 years around that chair to make sure that we get done what we need to do, which is elect Democrats up and down the ballot.
And we'll have one more question.
Let's put things in perspective. We had a wild repression in '68, quieter protests in '96. How chill do you think Chicagoans are going to be in '24? And maybe more important, is our police department going to be ready for the challenge?
I think we're all up for it. You know, I said earlier that we're ready for our close-up. This is a great global city. We are ready to show all the proof points that support Biden and Harris. Whether it's our work with organized labor, whether it's how we're using ARP dollars to strengthen communities, the list goes on. And this is a place where we are going to be not only uniting Chicago and Illinois, but we have the opportunity to really ignite the entire Midwest, from Minneapolis to Detroit, from Madison and Milwaukee down to St. Louis and parts in between. This is a real opportunity to go right at the heartland. And, you know, my view is you win the heartland, you win the election. And we are ready. Not only are we ready, we've got mayors and governors all across this entire region who are excited about the opportunities for this convention. And logistically, there's no question that we can make this happen. You know, LALA's starting this week. We put on an incredible series of events over Memorial Day weekend, from the Coldplay concert to Sueños. We know how to handle large-scale events, and this former emergency management professional, we know how to get it done. We work well together from our police department, our fire department, OEMC, and all the other logistics that are necessary to make this an incredibly smooth, as the chairman said, turnkey experience. We know how to do that. The United Center folks have been phenomenal, and I think impressive, in part because some of the same folks that put on the '96 convention are still at the United Center. So all the bones and logistics of how to pull off this kind of event and also make the experience, not only for the staff that would be coming to Chicago probably a year in advance, but also for the conventioneers themselves. And one of the things, as the governor alluded to, we've got a lot of great ideas about how we bring the convention experience outside of the four walls. So we are ready, we are united, and we're going to do everything we can to convince the chairman and the team there's no place else like Chicago.